Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Platitude Era podcast. In this episode of the podcast, we will be reviewing Academy Award-winning film Jojo Rabbit. So, the synopsis and when the trailer first came out for this movie, we thought that it was about a boy whose imaginary friend is Hitler. Movie comes out, we realize the movie takes place during World War II, probably near the tail end. And the movie's more about the story of a boy and his mother.
Is there a question?
Just wanted to see if you wanted to add on top of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been said many times before, but we've been, a little too hesitant to say it, to speak it out loud in current political times.
That's one of the talents that the director Taika Waititi had with this movie. He was able to tell a dramatic story and then bring in shades of humor into it. Just hearing what the movie was about, or if somebody tries to explain it to you, it could stir some controversy. But when you actually sit down and watch the movie and just see how the story unfolds and plays out, it's the story or the fight between the propaganda machine, the government, trying to raise your children, trying to tell you how to think, what to do, and the fight of a mother trying to regain control of her son and, raise her kids right. It brings along that philosophical question of who's responsible for raising children? Is it the government or is it the parents?
I don't think anyone would argue that the government should be raising a child if you're a decent parent.
Then why do so many parents protest and say that schools need to do better at educating their children?
Oh, this is going to turn into a horrible political conversation that demands to be edited out of this. Bad parenting.
See, that's why this movie's so interesting, and it's really such a good movie on the top list of lots of film critics, because you can look at this movie different ways. It tells a story that you could just sit and watch, and the more you think about it, the more it makes you think about different things.
I think another aspect of what this film is trying to say that your feeble mind couldn't think of, and I just thought of right on the spot because I haven't seen this movie for like 2 months, is that how is it that in quote unquote your own home, this kind of hatred and horrible policy making, I'm being a little reductionist there, can come out of your home? So let's make the argument that Scarlett Johansson, the mother, is how is she, a loving, caring mother, was able to raise this child who becomes a Hitler youth and falls to the whim of Hitler and the Nazi regime? How does Mother Germany allow such hatred and vileness come out of Germany itself? Well, I guess it comes from a lot of people just kind of laying down and letting it happen, saying we're kind of in control of this. I guess it hasn't done anything bad yet, but then eventually the tide turns and then it does, and then you're like, well, I've already let it get this far. I think I'll know when to properly stop it, but eventually it kind of gets out of hand and then it becomes what it is. And I guess the difficulty in becoming a parent or a country is how do you steer the ship back to where it needs to be?
Well said.
And I didn't do this for 5 pages double spaced. I said that in about 3 or 4 sentences.
And then also, damn.
Good night, everybody.
So, what's your recommendation before we get into it? What do our friends at Rotten Tomato have to say about this movie? Jojo Rabbit, critics gave it an 80%, certified fresh. Audience gave it a 95%. What is your recommendation?
I'd say it's a little I know it had a lot of praise and it was pretty popular, I think, but it still kind of feels like an unsung gem of 2019. I feel like it didn't get enough of its fair due. I mean, Taika Waititi's clearly an emerging artist who's making some good quality films, and I think in lesser hands, this combination of a satire of 1940s Germany and turning it into a comedic spin on that could be difficult to do, but clearly the sensibility of a New Zealander Kiwi comedian with the artistic eye for filmmaking, when you just blend all that together, you can make this work. In lesser hands, it would have been a total shit show of a disaster, and I think I like to thank God every day for people like Taika Waititi, who make a damn fine piece of film and who are willing to step out of a comfort zone that most others probably might not want to.
My recommendation for this movie is don't miss it. You know, if this is the kind of movie that you can analyze in more than one way, it's definitely worth watching. And like you said, Taika Waititi, it just shows his brilliance in this. He was able to turn around the Thor franchise. It went through two different directors, Thor, before he got it. Nobody understood how to present the character. He did. He knows how to walk that line between humor and drama, and he does it again in this movie. And this movie covers such serious subject matter that, you know, gotta applaud the man.
I mean, it's not like he shows Auschwitz or nothing, but I mean, he gets far enough, I suppose. Hey, by all means, no such thing as bad publicity, right?
That's true. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Well, everyone, thank you very much. We would stay and talk some more about this fine film, but we are really behind and have to get through multiple reviews. Let's see if you can guess the 3 reviews we're doing in one sitting. Bye.